Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This week, we are so excited to have Lesley. She was one of our big winners at the 2024 showcase. Thanks for coming in today, Lesley.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your fiance and, just your wedding journey so far.
Well, I've been waiting a very long time to be here to get to this point, to finally be a bride. Basically, Artie and I have been together for 12 years plus, and we have two kids and a house and the dog and the whole thing. So the only thing was missing was the ring. And so now we are engaged and have been since February of 2023. And it was a awesome engagement because he actually proposed where we first met. And now we have been starting our wedding journey, which we were all over the place when we first started because I didn't like plan on anything. And it was totally unexpected. But now that I'm here, we are actually getting married in October of 2024 this year, and which is less than 12 weeks now. Um, and so yeah, that's pretty much us. And we are so excited because we're actually having a destination wedding in Mexico, which was something that I've actually wanted this whole time. But at the same time, we didn't know if it was going to be doable because there's a lot of different logistics to being married in a destination. Um, and yeah, but at the end of the day, we're doing it and it's happening. And yeah,
That is so exciting. I love that, you guys are getting your kind of destination, vacation all started, honeymoon even started like
yes,
as soon as you're done with your wedding.
yes.
That's great. So, how was your experience at the Wedding Showcase 2024?
It was actually really cool because being at the wedding showcase, I originally was supposed to go with the groom. And but having kids, he got stuck at a tournament, and so I was able to take my mom with me. And for us, like we don't really like know about certain things like who goes and picks out the tuxedos or who goes and decides on flowers and decor, even though he told me that was in charge of all of that. I think at the end of the day, he still wanted to kind of see and have input on it. But unfortunately, he missed it. So I ended up taking my mom, who is also someone who is really good at hosting and picking out and making decisions on, events. And going there, it was like, um, pretty eye-opening because you think that you're like, "Oh, I know what I want for my dress. I know what I want for the flowers. I know what I want. I'm going on a destination." But then there's a lot of things that you don't think about. And like for one, the groom does he buy his suit or does he rent his suit? And so going there was like trying to find out all the little things that, we don't think about or that come up. And then people start asking you and you're like, wait, I don't know. Like I didn't know about this. But um going there, it was nice to have like all in one place. And so I mean, you have like your Pinterest board and you know what you like, but then there might be things that you didn't think about, and so then you realize, wait, I do like that. So and also there's a lot of festivities leading up to having a wedding. So bridal shower, bachelorette, all the things. So because I have a destination wedding, I didn't think like I was gonna need a lot of like vendors. And but then I do have a bridal shower coming, and my mom is hosting that, so she wants to go all out. So there's like dresses to pick out for your bridal shower. There's dresses to pick out for rehearsal dinner. There's dresses. So even though I actually had already picked out my dress going there, there were still other options that I needed for those events and the flower girl and the maid of honor and so on and so on. So yeah, we had a good time. We got there. There was prizes I won, people I met, and I'm a very like in person. Like I rather speak. Like emailing and contacting people is great, but when you don't know who you're talking to, you feel like, is this really happening? how do I know they know what I really want, what I'm talking about? Like, so it's kind of nice to see and meet people and know who you're actually emailing later on and who you're in contact and who's going to be there when you get there. Um, just kind of like communicating in person basically. So it was good. It was
Yeah,
nice.
that's
Yeah.
lovely. I think a lot of people who have a destination wedding, they don't always think about like, okay, well, I'm getting married somewhere else, so I don't need to meet vendors here. But you can really like you said, you have a bridal shower coming up, you have an engagement party, you
Hmm.
have all these other things. And especially for your family and friends that aren't going to be able to make it, those are great festivities for them to be able to come to here
Yes.
where you are and
Yeah.
enjoy those times. So you mentioned that you were looking for maid of honor and mother of the bride dresses, and you went to Bella Bridesmaids, correct?
Yes, I did, which I had no idea about. Um, just side note, I do hair and makeup for weddings, for brides, I should say. So I do see and hear a lot of vendors and I get referrals for like, I see photographers, I meet with like other hair and makeup artists. Um, but I never heard of Bella Bridesmaids. And I guess because I've never really been on that side of the, place. Like I've been a bridesmaid in weddings, but I just didn't really think about like where all the bridesmaids dresses are coming from. And so going to it's Bella's Bridesmaids. Yeah. I went with my sister the first time and she had an appointment, which was great. And we were able to, it was actually just my daughter and I. And so right away, like they were on time. It was very like we opened the door and they already had all the dresses that she had mentioned that like, colors and styles that she wanted when she registered and made the appointment. So she had all that ready to go. But then she took us in a room where it was just like bridesmaids, like heaven, like you just every color, every style, everything. I was like, I want to be a bridesmaid. But it was really cool because she explained like the styles and it's like you think it's overwhelming, but once she broke it down, you realize like, oh, okay. So she was able to pick out some dresses from there, which was really cool because she pretty much had it on point with the ones that she picked out already. But sometimes you think like, oh, maybe you're not like, for instance, my sister kept picking out styles but there were styles that she had already worn in other weddings she was in. So then we were like, okay, let's just like leave it into the professionals, which actually she ended up finding a dress. And it was really cool because they had like a little showroom. So it's another area. And then she was trying on the dresses and we decided on two. And the tiebreaker was basically like we asked for the swatches, which they had for both. And my colors are like sage green and some greenery. And we had the swatches for my daughter's flower girl dress. And so when we looked at the swatches, it's really hard to like determine like colors sometimes. So my sister asked for if you had like the swatch in that color like dress, like we could see the whole thing. And she's like, yeah, actually we do, just not that style, which is fine. And she brought it out and then we were like, okay, no, I don't like that green. I like this green better. So that was really cool. They were like very attentive, like had everything on point, which there was another like group coming out before us and then coming in after us. So they were really good, like super knowledgeable about all the dresses and what styles are out there. And really kind. And then she ordered her dress and she actually just told me that it's ready to be picked up. So yeah, they were really nice. And then I did kind of peek into because they don't carry wedding dresses, but they do have some like um I guess you could still use them as a wedding dress if you're like, if that's your style, but they had like rehearsal dinner dresses and like engagement dresses, just a small rack. So it was kind of nice. And like flower girl dresses. And yeah, I definitely liked them. My mom, I did take a picture for a dress for her that was on their mannequin. She tried on some dresses, and she liked quite a few of them, but the timing, she went a little bit too late. So it wasn't going to be here on time. But other than that, yeah, they were good overall, like with everything from reservation to picking out dresses to ordering. And yeah, I loved them. I would totally recommend them. I actually
Yeah,
been telling everybody about him. So that's cool.
I
Yep.
love them. So for your daughter, you ended up going with David's Bridal for her flower
Yes.
girl junior bridesmaid dress,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. Yes. She is. close to 10 years old. So picking out dresses for her, it was really her decision. And again, we've got Pinterest boards going. So we got like the style and idea that we wanted before we went in. Cause I also like, you don't want to get overwhelmed. Cause I noticed that like there's a lot of dresses, so you kind of not need to know what you're going into, even for flower girl dresses. With her, we went to David's Bridal. It was pretty easy, simple. We went in, we knew the style. So she's very, was it like sleek, modern style? Because she doesn't want anything to be itching around her arms or anything. But it was nice because she got there was two dresses, and out of the two, she went into the try-on area, and they had mirrors everywhere. So she came out, felt like a princess, and she tried on the first dress, loved it. Tried on second dress, said, "Oh well, I want to try on the other dress again because I like both of them." And I'm like, "All right." So we tried on the other dress again, and yeah, the girls came. They clipped her, hemmed her, like just kind of was like, "This is what it will look like on your right size," and it's ordered and should be here in a couple weeks. And yeah, it was great. So it was super easy, simple, and she was comfortable and happy about it. And I think we might add a little bow to hers, which they have there. So that's pretty cool. They have like accessories and all that good stuff. So it was a good time.
That was really awesome that they made a whole experience for her, just almost like how they did
Yeah.
for you
Yeah.
trying on a dress. And
Yeah.
she had her big
Moment.
princess
Yeah.
moment. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
It is.
So for the tuxedos, for Artie and his groomsmen and AJ, our little groomsman slash ring
Yes.
bearer, you went to Tuxedo Den, correct?
Yes, I did. I really like Tuxedo Den, honestly. So this was one thing that we didn't think about. But having a destination wedding, you're obviously, if you're going to rent tuxedos, you're gonna get charged for extra days. So that was a huge highlight of them, which I think you interviewed them, and then I asked you about them or commented something about them before the wedding showcase. So I was like, I need to stop at their area because they did say that compared to like other competitors, they won't charge you for extra days to rent. So that was like, that stood out to me. And then one thing I did do is have like mental notes of what I wanted to ask people, like vendors like them. So I did ask them, like, do I go with it, to the try on and all this, like who goes? Because he doesn't actually have a big groomsmen party. So has the best man. And then there's my son who will be the ring bearer. And then I wanted my dad to also get his suit rented. So it could just all be nicely cohesive to each other. And they, kind of gave me really good tips and ideas. And then I took it back to him. And then we kind of decided together, like I was going to go, and he is very stylish. So I do trust him. So that was why we had a dilemma if I go and I don't go. I've asked other brides and they're like, "Oh, I totally went." Like there was no way he was going to pick out a suit on his own, which is fine. And we were like in the between. I'm like, well, of course I like to be controlling, but at the same time, you're super stylish. So, and I kind of want to be surprised, being with him for so long. Like we've had, a lot of moments together where we dress up and go to weddings and stuff. So I kind of wanted to have that moment of like seeing him for the first time too in his tux, So I actually didn't go with him the second time. So, and they're really great there. We went there first time for his, deciding on his style, and I had a little bit of input. But ultimately he chose. And then my son, he's excited, about he wanted to wear a tie, not a bow tie, but dad said wear a bow tie. And then the best man. So they're set up, ready to go. And then they had scheduled already like a second, like to come in to try on sampling, like so he could see the suit all together. And I was like, I'm not going to be here. And she did, double check if I was going to be okay with that. Like she's like, what if he like changes his mind? I'm like, it's fine. If he changes his mind, it's because he feels best in it. Like he should deserve to feel good too in his suit. Cause us brides do too. So, yeah, so he chose that, and yeah, he's ready to go. So suits will be picked up the week we leave, and then everybody will be good from head to toe. We don't have to worry about the shoes and this and that because obviously like I had to take care of the ring bearer too since he's my son.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of people that, are super important, not just the bride and groom. And yeah, no, we're excited. It's going to be good because everything's all just very together. And then my dad went in and we had another person help us, and I can't remember her name, but she was also awesome. And she had all the notes, all the things. And I just was like, figure it out, like whatever you have in your notes. And they actually gave him a really nice style. So we were all happy about that. And yeah, like it was great. Yeah. And my dad was super happy too about it. And he feels good because he's going to be fitted to his sizing and all that and doesn't have to worry about alterations later on, which is a big thing because my dress has to get altered and you got to do that. So it's nice to have that all just set, made to custom to their sizing.
Custom sizing, but a
Yeah.
rental. How
Yeah.
amazing is that?
Yeah.
So you're not stuck with the suit that
Yeah.
you may never wear again.
Yeah, which was really actually nice because Artie did want his suit customized, but they kind of met halfway with him. They customized like a couple of things so it wasn't just like the same suit that somebody else could have worn. And so they gave really good tips too, which was really nice because I mean, you could tell they know what they're doing. Like, it's our first time doing it and it's not like we're not wearing suits all the time. So it was
Right.
nice. They had good input.
I love
Yeah.
that. So you were one of the big winners at our fashion show. You won an engagement shoot with In Focus Love Studio, correct?
Yes, I did.
So tell me about that process of, from start to finish, how did that go for you? Like yeah, let's just start from the beginning.
I mean, they were really good. So, In Focus Love Studio actually is photos and video. And I can't remember if it was an engagement shoot or was it like, I think it was like an engagement. I can't remember, but I just know that I contacted them and just let them know that, we are having a destination wedding and that if we could use the prize as an engagement photo shoot because it was still early on. It was like February, I guess. And so I contacted them right away. And actually he answered and right away. And so, but we scheduled an appointment to get all the, scheduling our time for a photo shoot and all that, and location and they actually, asked for our like ideas of what we wanted and we sent over our Pinterest board to them. And, it was like pretty much duplicated what I wanted for my pin. So we wanted kind of casual. And somewhat like city-like because he's from the Bay Area. I grew up in Sacramento. I didn't want to have to do a traveling thing. And so and I'm not from the Bay Area, but we did like city-like. When we met, we were out, like in the city pretty much in Sacramento. So we thought like, okay, let's just do something like this. We saw a lot of cool pictures on Pinterest and that gave us a lot of good ideas. And yeah, she came and she took us actually in areas of downtown Sacramento that we didn't know. So we were like, oh, this is really cool. And had great backgrounds. And they were great. So we've actually received our engagement photos within like less than 2 weeks. And they were so nice. We actually used them on our invitations. So we did have a wedding link for our invitations, but it was an excuse to use them and, not just to frame them. So it was kind of hard to decide because there were some really good ones. And so, yeah, we chose one and then we've decided to frame some and they were great. They were awesome. I would totally use them again. Yeah, that was really cool because I wasn't planning on it. So it was a nice little prize for both of us.
So were you guys nervous during the shoot at all?
Yes.
You or your
No, we're totally nervous because we don't. The only other time we've taken photos is our family photos, and so our kids are usually with us, and we're usually holding them instead of holding each other, and so and it was really like I felt awkward because you want the ring to show, and then you're like staring at each other, but. Once I think it started rolling, like we started to get comfortable because she was really good, like from like random hair pieces out. And even he felt so good because she told him like, you gotta like look this way or look that way. And he was like, oh, she knows the angles. Like, and she was getting all the good angles. And he had like a hat on and didn't have it on. And she knew like when to take it off, when to have it on, like his hair, my hair, like our make, just like the smallest things. And we're like, oh my God, this is like so cool. So we knew we're like, oh, we're not going to look ridiculous. Like she's got the good angles. She made us feel super comfortable. And I mean, we had like, our kids are both in competitive soccer, so we had that in common. So we were like, okay, our life. So, and she was great. So, I mean, of course you're like awkward at first, but, and then I'm really short. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't like, he wasn't always hunched over. And that is the big like thing, cause when you're like staring at each other and like having those photos of moments of you're like, I want to be in the moment, but I don't want to be awkwardly looking up and him awkwardly looking down. So she had us like use like steps and things. And it really it was cool. I was like, oh yeah, I don't even look that short next to you, so they were nice. And yeah, we liked it. It was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of it all, we're like, oh, we could do this again. So yeah, we're like, this is a good practice though for wedding photos. Like, so actually I was like, I highly recommend people to do that. Like, it doesn't have to be like the fanciest engagement photos, which we do like. Like if we had more time and actually had planned it, we probably would have gone in the bar, like, and had like those little nice, like classy, like, him in the like tux or something. And those were really fun. Those were also on our Pinterest, but we're like, it kind of happened a little fast. And I was like, and it's fine. I was okay with being a little bit more casual. But yeah, definitely like I highly recommend that because now it made us like, oh, we got the wedding photos down. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, that was your
So,
your
yeah.
dry practice
Yeah,
run.
yeah. Yeah.
Your rehearsal dinner of
Yes.
it all.
Yes, exactly. So it was good. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you mentioned when you went to the wedding showcase that you had kind of already prepared some questions for the vendors. Can you kind of let um, other people know, like, what questions did you prepare? What kind of tips do you have for them so they can kind of get thinking ahead of time? Because like you said, you're having a destination wedding, so you didn't necessarily think that you needed all these things, but what are some of those questions that you would like tell yourself to ask now that you've gone through the process?
Questions I would ask. Well, I think for one, write down your questions because you're gonna forget. There's a lot of things to know. But I think knowing that planning too far in advance isn't like a bad thing. It's a really good thing. And just, asking the questions of like timelines to the vendors. Like, I think, like for instance, Bella Bridesmaids, I should have asked them like, how soon should we have to, order dresses? Because yeah, they booked us and, the reservation and all that, but there are some dresses that take longer and that kind of with wedding dresses, but you don't really think about that with like, maybe like my mom's dresses, the mother of the bride or something. So asking for like timelines. So that way, you're respectful of their time too. And you're not like, oh, I need this now. And then they're trying to rush for you and all that stuff. So timelines. And then definitely, kind of like letting go and letting them give you tips and advice on what you should do. And like, you can, let them know what your whole wedding vision is, if it's a destination, a farm, wet winery, all the different types of weddings you can have. And just like asking, what they recommend if you want it to look a certain way or, things to be styled a certain way or, what matters most in these cases. Like it could be like dessert, like, do you think from your experience, do you think cupcakes are appropriate for a wedding or, things like that. So I think it's more just like, think about what you want in your wedding and your vision. And then, it's okay to ask like, is this going to be like cost effective? Is this going to, and the worst thing that they can say is like, maybe we're not for you. And then they can refer you to somebody else. Cause I think a big thing too in the industry is like all about referrals. So that's why there's so many vendors out there because it's someone will fit for someone, there's always someone for everyone. And so, yeah, just figuring out, like writing out your questions to figure out what your likings are. And then that way you're good. Like, and, yeah, I think that's it. I mean, there's a lot of things going into a wedding. I mean, you can go on and on with like questions and decorating and all that stuff. But I think you got to focus on what you really want and not always what everyone else wants. So, because there's a lot of people involved in the wedding and there's a lot of vendors and families and all that. So, I think it's like kind of just trying to stay organized and making sure that, communicating with the vendors is important because they're going to be running your whole wedding day pretty much, and it's a big day. So, and they're used to it. They're professionals. They do this for a living. So, I mean, the worst thing, like I said, they could just be like, no, we can't do that. But, and you can fill it out too. I think meeting people in person is like you fill out if they're your person for, photos and for like the food, the type of food, which is, that's a big deal. In most cases, I mean, maybe photos is more important. So you also want to put up your top, what's the most important thing that you want at your wedding. So listing those things is good too.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for engaged couples that are starting the planning process?
Um, so for engaged couples, one thing I did hear on your that I hear actually often from a lot of your vendors on your podcast is that they all recommend the biggest tip is to not stress and have fun and enjoy the moment. But I think it's yeah, of course, you want to have fun and enjoy the moment while you're, doing the planning the process. But one thing that I learned is kind of giving each other like what duties each person can have. And at the end of the day, it's bride and groom, and they're the ones getting married and you're there for each other. So you have to remember that, you know, if it's about you guys and what you guys want. And so whatever your guys' vision is, you can also like ask for help and let people help you create that vision, So letting go and letting people help because I think a lot of times you think like, oh, I know what I want. It's, and people get so stressed out when it starts to coming down to the littlest to, 2 months left, 1 month left. And you're like, oh, I still need to book rehearsal dinner. I still need. So I think kind of rounding up your family and friends that are willing to help and picking out those people who are great at hosting, planning, anybody who's techie and loves to do like all these, searching all these things for you or taking that friend that's great about picking out vendors at a showcase and like, knows exactly what you want and is there to, for support. So I think, just letting people help you but also knowing, who to ask for help in those cases,
Yeah.
Yeah. And that way you can enjoy a lot of the time with your groom and you guys can do the things that you guys enjoy. Like for us right now, we're trying to decide on songs and, and what's our first dances. And that's supposed to be the fun part, and then we're like, how are we going to dance? Are we going to do like two songs or one song, So, and let everybody else like book, like worry about other people having fun because at the end of the day, like it's a wedding. Everybody has fun. Like, why not? Everybody wants to get dressed up and go out for a nice dinner and, be surrounded by love. So no matter what, at the end of the day, everyone's going to have fun. Don't stress. It's going to be great and let people help you so you can enjoy the real intimate moments with your groom and bride.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is your advice just in general for anyone who's getting married or about to get married?
Don't wait till the day of the wedding to write your vows. I actually do see that a lot. So that's one recommendation I keep giving myself is like, start writing them now, jot down notes. But in general, because I think at the end of the day, we're all coming down the aisle to like say our vows to each other. So overall, planning a wedding, just know that that's like a super important time. And that's what the real important moment is about. And remember that, while you're there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited that you were able to come to the 2024 wedding showcase. And I appreciate you coming on today and talking about your experience and your wedding coming up in just a few weeks.
Thank you. I can't wait. I'm so excited. But I'm also actually looking forward to my sister's actually engaged. So she's going to be going to her next wedding showcase, which is going to be yours. And I think it's next year in
Yep.
January,
February
February,
2nd.
February 2nd. So yeah, no, we're so excited. My sister gets to be, my maid of honor, and then she hasn't asked me to be her maid of honor, but I'm hoping so we could do that one TikTok video where it's like the maid of honor and she's in her maid of honor dress, and then when she has hers, we swap. So yeah, I'm excited about that. So yeah, and my wedding is coming up so soon. Can't
It's so
wait.
exciting. Okay,
Can't
well,
wait.
for sure, I will see you on February 2nd at the Safe Credit Union Convention Center for your sister's
I
upcoming
know.
wedding.
So happy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So I just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. Without our sponsors, none of these shows would be possible. So thank you so much to our diamond sponsor, Lush Balloons, as well as our media sponsor, Real Weddings Magazine, our grand prize sponsor, Retreat Salon and Spa in Roseville, as well as our fashion show sponsors, Carriage House Flower Farms, Our Place Event Space and Kitchen, and our VIP lounge sponsors, can't forget them, Petite Events, White Moon Rustics, and a Doboink. Thank you so much, and we can't wait to see you all at the 2025 Wedding Showcase at Safe Credit Union Convention Center. Tickets are now on sale.